Folks, concluding day of the teachings of the Rambam. We are going to learn actually the last two chapters, chapters 11 and 12. Okay, let's get right into it. You got it there? Have in the booklet if you want. Okay. In the future, yeah, chapter 11. In the future, the Messianic king will arise and renew the Davidic dynasty, restoring it to its initial sovereignty. He will build the temple and gather the dispersed of Israel. Then in his days, the observance of all the statutes will return to their previous state. He will offer sacrifices, observe the sabbatical and the Jubilee years according to all their particulars as described by the Torah. Anyone who does not believe in him or does not await his coming denies not only his statements of other prophets, but also the Torah and Moshe, our teacher, as the Torah testifies to his coming, as it says, God will bring back your captivity and have mercy upon you. He will again gather you from all among the nations, even if your diaspora is at the ends of the heavens. God will gather you up from there and bring you to the land. These explicit words of the Torah includes all the statements made by the prophets. Reference to Mashiach can also be made in the portion of Bilam, right? Bilam, the non-Jewish prophet, prophesies about two anointed kings. First anointed king David, who saved Israel from her oppressors. The final appointed king who will arise from his descendants of King David and save Israel at the end of days. Passage says, I see it, but not now, refers to David. I perceive it, but not in the near future. That refers to Mashiach, King Mashiach. A star shall go forth from Jacob. This refers to David. And a staff will arise in Israel. This refers to Mashiach, King Mashiach. Crushing all the Moab princes refers to David. He smote Moab and measured them with a line. Disseminating all of Sheth's descendants. This refers to Mashiach, the Messianic king, about whom it says, he will rule from sea to sea. Edom will be demolished. This verse to David. It says Ammon became a servant of David. Seir will be destroyed. This verse to Messianic king, prophecies, saviors will descend Mount Zion to judge the mountain of Esau. There's a lot over here to go into depth, but similarly, with regard to the cities of refuge, it says that God will expand your borders. Others, what he's proving over here is in the Torah, we have this idea of Mashiach. Because it's not written explicitly that in the end of days there'll be a messianic redemption and so on. It's hinted in the words. Right? So we just had it from Bilam, and it's hinted. Right? Again, it's not openly expressed, but it is hinted. Sorry, excuse me. Now we see it even in the Geder, the definition of a mitzvah, because now cities of refuge is a mitzvah. When God will expand your borders, you must add 3 more cities. This command was never fulfilled. Surely God did not give his command in vain. There is no need to cite proofs from the works of the prophets, for all the books are filled with mention of this matter. So he's bringing that even from the mitzvah of city of refuge, there's a command that in the future you should make, right? So that's future is talking about times of Mashiach, because God did not command something in vain. That's what the reference point is. Likewise, we have throughout the prophets, especially Isaiah, but in all the prophets, there's mention, an open manner of the Messianic times. One should not presume the Messianic king must work miracles and wonders, bring about new phenomena in the world, resurrect the dead, or perform other similar deeds. This is definitely not true. Proof can be brought of the fact from Rabbi Akiva, one of the great sages in the Mishnah, was one of the supporters of King Bar Koziba, Bar Kochva, and would describe him as Messianic king. He and all the sages of his generation considered him to be a Messianic king until he was killed because of his sins. That's how we know he wasn't Mashiach. Once he was killed, they realized that he was not Mashiach. Sages did not ask him to make any signs or wonders. The main thrust of the matter is this Torah, statutes, and laws are everlasting, may not add to them or detract from them. In other words, Mashiach is coming to not add or detract from the Torah, but to bring it to its ultimate fulfillment. So if that's what he's working on, and he's fighting, well, we'll see now the details and how we know who Mashiach is in the next halacha. But the fact that Bar Koziba, he was considered to be Mashiach in his generation. How could that be? Well, there's someone potential in every generation to be Mashiach. So Rabbi Akiva thought that Bar Koziba or Bar Kochva was the one in his generation because he led the battle against the Romans. He had started to defeat them until he was defeated and killed. At that point, we know that he is because he was defeated. So, if a king will arise from the house of David, who diligently contemplates the Torah and observes its mitzvahs as prescribed by the written law and the oral Torah, as David, his ancestor, and furthermore, he will compel all of Israel to walk in the ways of Torah. Right? In other words, he's going to make Chabad houses all over the world. So, you should be compelled to fulfill Torah mitzvahs and rectify the breaches in the observances, and give us Rambam to learn and other things. Right? Fight the wars of And I said, I said that. In other words, he's rectifying the breaches in observance. How? So I'm giving an example, like telling us to learn Rambam, right? That kind of thing. Or I fight the wars of God. He may, with assurance, consider him Mashiach. That's only considered to be Mashiach, right? So what does it mean, the wars of God? Doesn't have to mean a physical war, right? It can be fighting for the security of Israel. It can be fighting for who's a Jew, right? And the like. If he succeeds in the above, and then he has to build the temple in its place, right, on Temple Mount, and gather the dispersed of Israel is the final thing, he is definitely the Mashiach. So if he does the first part, he is potentially Mashiach. You can consider him Mashiach. Then he has to do the latter two things, and he for sure is. Yeah, then he for sure is. So first building the temple, then bringing the dispersed of Israel. He will then improve the entire world, motivating all the nations to serve God. So this is what he does, but he also has an effect on the non-Jewish nations, that they will also be motivated and want to serve God together. As it says, I will transform the peoples to a pure language, and they all will call upon the name of God and serve him with one purpose. If he did not succeed to this degree or was killed, he surely is not the Redeemer promised by the Torah. Rather, he should be considered as all other proper and complete kings of the Davidic dynasty who died. God caused him to arise only to test. So, in other words, he's a prophet. He can be a prophet of God, but he's not the final Redeemer, right? And some of the wise men will stumble and try them to refine and clarify until an appointed time, because the set time is in the future. Now he goes into something interesting. Jesus of Nazareth, who aspired to be Mashiach and was executed by the court, is also alluded to in Daniel's prophecies. The vulgar among your people shall exalt themselves and attempt to fulfill the vision, but they shall stumble. Yeah. So the vulgar around them shall be exalted in them that attempt to fulfill the vision, but they shall stumble. Can there be a greater stumbling block than Christianity? All the prophets spoke of Mashiach as the Redeemer of Israel and their Savior, who would gather the dispersed and strengthen the observance of mitzvahs. In contrast, Christianity caused the Jews to be slain by the sword, the remnants of to be scattered and humbled, the Torah to be altered, and the majority of the world to err and serve God other than the Lord. Nevertheless, the intended creator of the world is not within the power of man to comprehend, for his ways are not ours, nor his thoughts our thoughts. Ultimately, all the deeds of Jesus of Nazareth and the Ishmaelite, that's called, right? That's, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the Muslims who arose after him will only serve to prepare the way to Mashiach and come in the improvement of the entire world, motivating the nations to serve God together, as I will transform the peoples to the pure language, and they will all call upon me in the name of God and serve him with one purpose. Right? So in other words, they were there, JC and uh so Christianity and Islam are there to pave the way for Mashiach, to give them a notion instead of paganism that there is, a greater purpose. So how will this all come about? The entire world has already become filled with the mention of Mashiach, Torah, and mitzvahs. Thus, matters have been spread to the furthermost islands, to many stubborn-hearted nations. They discuss these matters in the mitzvahs of the Torah, saying, these mitzvahs are true, but we already negated in the present age and are not applicable for all times. Others say, implied then mitzvahs are hidden concepts and cannot be understood simply. The Mashiach has already come and revealed those hidden truths. When the true Messianic king will arise and prove successful, his position become exalted and uplifted, they will all return and realize that their ancestors endowed them with false heritage and their prophets. So the uplifted will return and realize the ancestors endowed them with false heritage, the prophets and the ancestors cause them to err.
The they here refers to the non-Jews.
Yeah, Christianity and Islam.
But then this refers to people who are alive at this time. What about those who died in the era? What is going to be their lot?
I don't know. Good question. Don't have an answer. Last chapter, chapter 12. Do not presume the Messianic era and the opposite of the world's nature will change, or there will be innovations in the work of creation. Rather, the world will continue according to its pattern. Although it says in Isaiah, the wolf will dwell with the lamb and the leopard will die down with the young goat. These words are a metaphor and a parable. The interpretation of the prophecy is as follows: Israel will dwell securely together with the wicked Gentiles who are likened to the wolf and a leopard. Oh, we see that today, boy. We have a bunch of, wolves and leopards, as the prophecy says, and a wolf from the wilderness shall spoil them, and the leopard will stalk their cities. They will all return to their true faith and no longer steal or destroy. Rather, they will eat permitted food in peace with Israel. And the lion will eat straw like an ox. Psh. Right? Similarly, in other messianic prophecies of nature are metaphors. Messianic, everyone will realize which matters are implied to be metaphors and which allusions they contained. Right? Now we don't truly get that, but we will get that in times of Mashiach. Okay, halacha number 2, the final chapter, coming to a conclusion. Our sages taught there will be no difference between the current age and the Messianic era, except for the emancipation from the subjugation to Gentile kingdoms. We will no longer be under the rule of the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Canada, and so on. They will not rule over us, right? Simple interpretation, meaning Mashiach will rule. Simple interpretation of the prophet's words appear to imply that the war of Gog and Magog will take place in the beginning of the Messianic era. Before the war of Gog and Magog, a prophet will arise and inspire Israel to be upright and prepare their hearts. Behold, I am sending Elijah. It sounds like there was a war. And as the Rebbe said, we definitely have fulfilled that already with World War II. He will not come to declare the pure impure, declare the impure pure, right? So Mashiach isn't coming for that. He will not dispute the lineage of those presumed to be a proper pedigree, nor will he validate the pedigree of those lineage that presumed blemished. Rather, he will establish peace within the world. Continues, and he will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children. These are some sages who say that Elijah's coming will precede the coming of Mashiach. All these matters, these and similar matters, cannot be definitively known by man until they occur. For these matters are undefined in the prophet's words, and even the wise men have no established tradition regarding these matters except for their own interpretation of the verses. Therefore, there is controversy among them regarding these verses. So we don't know exactly how it's going to come, the Mashiach is going to come. We don't know all these things, right? It's beyond us, even though there is many interpretations, but, we have to wait and see. It's what the Rambam is saying, right? Regarding of the debate concerning these questions, neither the order, the occurrence of these events, or their precise detail are among the fundamental principles of faith. A person should not occupy himself with godless and homiletics concerning these and similar matters, nor should he consider them as essentials, for the study of them is neither bring fear or love of God. Unless, unless it does. Similarly, one should not try to determine the appointed time of Mashiach's coming. Our sages declare, may the spirits of those who attempt to determine the time of Mashiach coming expire. Rather, one should await and believe in the great conception of the matter as explained. So in other words, don't try to figure out, you do this and this, Mashiach's going to come. Da-da-da-da, We just have to do, and, tilt the scales for Mashiach's coming. During the era of the Messianic king, once the kingdom has been established and all of Israel is gathered around him, the entire nation's line of descendant will be established on the basis of the words of the prophetic spirit, which will rest upon him. He shall sit as a refiner and a purifier. He will purify the lineage of the Levites first, stating that he is a priest of the defined lineage. He is a Levite of defined lineage. Those whose lineage will not recognize will be lowered to a status of the Israelite. This is implied. The governor said to them, they should not eat from the most holy things until the Kohen arises. Okay. Simplified, but the governor shall say, they should not eat of the most holy things until the priest arises, who will wear the Urim and Tumim, the breastplate with the. From this verse, he can infer that prophetic spirit will be used to define and notify the pedigree of lineage, right? No, if you're truly a Kohen, truly, right? When he defines the lineage of the Israelites, he will make known their tribal lineage alone, stating that he is from this tribe and that he is from another tribe. He will not, by contrast, state concerning a person who is presumed to be unblemished lineage. He is illegitimate or is a slave lineage. For the law is once a family has become intermingled in the entire Jewish people, they remain intermingled. Got two more halachas. The sages and the prophets did not yearn for the Messianic order in order to have dominion over the entire world, to rule over Gentiles, to be exalted by the nations, nor to eat, drink, and celebrate. That's not what. It's not about a party. It's not about having power. Rather, they desire to be free, to be involved in Torah and wisdom without any pressures or disturbances, so that they would merit the world to come, as explained in Hilchos Tshuva. In that era, final halacha, in that era, there will be neither famine or war, envy or competition for good will flow, or competition for good will flow in abundance, and all the delights will be freely available as dust. The occupation of the entire world, right? The times of Mashiach, not just Jewish people, it's all people, will solely be to know God. right? In other words, in every experience, there'll be a sense of God in that experience. We'll sense the truth of that moment. We'll sense the connection of that moment. We'll sense the absolute, bond in that moment. Therefore, the Jews will be great sages and know the hidden matters, grasping the knowledge of their Creator according to the full extent of human potential, as it says in Isaiah, and the world will be filled with the knowledge of God as the waters cover the ocean bed. Blessed be God who grants assistance. This completes Hilchos Malachim, the entire text. Blessed be He who spoke, and the world came into being as a whole, and all of its materials. This is the 14th book with the help of the Almighty. The amount of chapters in this book are 81. The laws of Sanhedrin, the High Court, 26. The laws of Testimony, Edus, 22. The laws of Mamrim, of apostates, 7. The laws of Aval, of the mourning, 14. The laws of Hilchos Malachim, the last 12 chapters. The entire book of 83 halachos, 982 chapters. Complete the perfect with the praise of God, Creator of the world. Chazak, chazak, v'nis chazek. Mazel tov. Mazel tov, mazel tov. And tomorrow, we start anew. Amazing. Third year that we are together doing this. And now, it's going to get for real. Because every year we know and learn more and more. Amazing. Amazing. God bless you all. Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Mazel. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.